Great. Now it's time for us to implement our word matcher. Once again, I will change this to public so that every other class can access our matcher match method. We already know it's going to be returning a list of matched words. So let's actually go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to declare a variable that is going to be holding our empty list that we will be adding matched words to. So I'll say matched words equals new list, and it's going to be a list of, guess what, matched words or matched word. And this is how we're declaring our empty list. And then at the end we can just say, you know, it's going to return that list, right? Right now we're not doing anything with it, but it's going to eventually, you know, do something with it and then return it. So let's think about this. What we want to do is we want to go through each and every scrambled word, and for each scrambled word that we provided as a user, we want to go and look at the entire word list. So for every scrambled word, we will have to look at the word list. And if we see that the scrambled word exactly matches the one of the words in the word list, then we don't even need to do anything fancy. We just say, wow, there was a match. Just return that. If there isn't, obviously, then what we need to do is we need to do something fancy to figure out whether that word in the word list equals, rather, is this unscrambled version of the scrambled given word. And the way we do it, as we've already talked about it, is we're going to be sorting the word in the word list and the word in the scrambled word list, right? Because there's a list of scrambled words or just one. So we're going to be sorting both, and then we will compare their values, because what we care about is the characters within each word. If the characters are the same, then we don't really care about the order. So that's going to be our algorithm. Now let's go ahead and do it. I will say for each in this case, because all we need to do is go from for each list from the very beginning to the end. So for each works just fine for that. And once again, choose your tools wisely. In this case, for each works just fine. So we need to, you know, we don't need to do for where we have all those complicated initializations and, you know, conditions and incrementers or decrementers. We just use for each. It's pretty clean, and we do just that. So we say a variable name. I just say scrambled word because, you know, it's very intuitive. I can, you know, name it A or anything else, but scrambled word in scrambled words just reads better, right? So this is going to be our first loop, and then this is going to be our outer loop, and then our inner loop within that loop, right? It's a bit complex, but it's okay. You know, because this still makes sense, because as we talked about it, first we did it in our minds, now we're doing it in code. We have to go for each scrambled word, so we're going to take each scrambled word, and for each scrambled word, we're going to go through the entire word list. So let's actually say word list, and we're going to say word. So now we have it. This is the basic structure. Now let's see. First we said if the scrambled word equals to the word from the word list. And what we're going to do once again is we're going to ignore the case. So I'm going to say string comparison, ordinal, ignore case. Great. So if they are equal, then right off the bat, just put them in the matched word list or matched words list, right? And you just do add. And now here's another thing. What I want to do is I want to create a helper method that'll allow me to generate a matched word. So what I will do is I will go ahead and create another method. This time I will say private, because I don't want any other class to have access to it. It's private to this class because it's a helper method specifically for this class. I'm going to say build matched word. It's just for convenience, right? It's just a helper method. I'll say string scrambled word then I will say string word, and then it's the signature of the method, and then I will say matched word equals new matched word. Great. Now what we can do is we can say, matched word dot scrambled word equals scrambled word, and do the same thing with the word. But there's actually a cleaner way to do it, which I will show you right after. So we can do all this. This is just fine. And you can do this, and at the end say, okay, well, I've built out the matched word. Let me return it back. You can do it, but there's a cleaner way. You can actually do this. And this is just a shortcut for it. Let me take this out. So you have your curly braces. Within that, you put your initialization. So you say, okay, well, I have a scrambled word, and I want that to equal the scrambled word that I passed in as a parameter. Then I have a word within my matched word, and I want that to equal to, that should be a comma, I want that to equal to the word that is also one of the parameters. And then obviously semicolon, and then we return the matched word. So it's a lot cleaner, a lot more readable. And now we can actually use this method within our add, right? To say whenever I want to create a matched word, instead of me doing all this stuff within the add, just call the method, right? A lot cleaner that way. So the first is going to be the scrambled word, and that's going to be this. The second one will be the word, which is this. So great. Now we have the basic scenario down. So if our scrambled word equals, like the characters equal, and also the order of characters equal to the unscrambled word, or the word in our case, then you just say there was a match right off the bat. Otherwise, now we need to do something more fancy. So here it is. I will say var scrambled word array. Scrambled word array. And I will say scrambled word. And since it's a string, it has methods on it that we have access to. One of the methods, once again, is toCharArray. So what this does is it breaks our string into characters, into an array of characters. And you will see why in a minute. Then I will say var word array. And I will say word to car array. So now we have the character array for both the scrambled word and the word. Now what we can do is we can use array sort, remember that? So we can sort our arrays. We can sort the first array, and then we can sort the second array. So the word array. And now they're sorted. Now guess what we need to do? Now we will bring them back and create them and make them strings from the characters, but from sorted characters, right? So it's a sorted character array. This will be a sorted character array after we sort them, and then we'll make it into a string. So then after we make them into a string, we will do the comparison afterwards. So let's go ahead and do that. I will say var sorted scrambled word equals new string, and this is how you create a string out of a character array. So you will basically do that, and it'll turn your character array into a string. It'll glue all the characters together and create a string out of it. And then you can say var sorted word, and you say new string, and you say word array. There you go. Now it's the easy part. We just need to compare them. So we say if sorted scrambled word equals to sorted word. And once again, we want to say ordinal ignore case because we want to be case insensitive. And we say if that is the case, if they are all equal, then guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to say build or add to the matched words the new built matched word that you built out of the scrambled word and out of the word that is the unscrambled word, right? But in this case, it's a word that's coming from the word list. It's technically still not the unscrambled word. The unscrambled word is almost like the result of the both. So naming convention, once again, could be debated because some of it has to do with the business requirements, how your stakeholders define things. So this could have then changed to, unscrambled word. If you have a debate with your stakeholders and they say that makes a lot more sense, you actually want your code to reflect the business as much as possible. So that's up to debate. And in this case, I'm going to call it word. So once again, we are finished with our matcher, word matcher, and match method. So the implementation is complete. Once again, if we go back to the program, we see that we didn't have to change anything. Yet, this will function just fine. So if you pass in a scrambled word and a word list, it'll function just fine. So that's it.